the pool, man. It's just everything else is. You can get vested in it. It's expensive.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a level.
Yo.
Sounds good.
Jim, I got like some questions that I wrote that are on my phone. So if you see me looking at my phone, it's not because I'm checking my Instagram
It's all good.
during a podcast.
Hey. We're all connected, man. Everybody's got to live on their phones. I just got a new phone. It's like the world just opened up for me again. It's nuts.
Yeah. And you're do you want me to put your social media info out? Do you care about it? It's up to you. I mean, like if you want people to all around the world, people are going to experience this podcast.
FMBA Local 68. That's where they can find me.
All right. It's up to you.
I mean, my whole profile. Have you ever gotten to our website?
No.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
What the
For the firehouse.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Really?
The Home Branch Fire Department. Oh, we got this techie dude. He's crazy. He got all. We got our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We just got like 5,000 followers now. The kid almost went nuts. We were like,
Are you serious?
oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So do you have juicy stuff on there, or like for like firefighting and?
Oh yeah. He's posting stuff every day.
Yeah.
If it's not a training issue, it's a what the hell just happened kind of thing,
Right,
you know. And he's connected. We got literally when I go out on a call, half the time there's somebody standing in front of the firehouse with their phone videotaping us coming out of the house.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple of different guys that they just come. Oh, we're hanging out in Long Branch today. If you catch anything, we'll be there.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are good whenever you're ready. I may hop in and out.
All right.
But,
Cool.
Yeah, you guys are rolling. If you finish up, just send me a text. I'll run in and stop everything. But
All right. You got it. You got it. You got it. All right. All right. So yeah, let's get down to this. So it's exactly 6:30. So yeah, we'll go for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, until you get sick and tired of it or whatever. All right. So hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Build, Burn, Become. My name is Fred Moore. Tonight, sitting with me is my guest. His name is Jim Cook. He is a lieutenant for the Long Branch Fire Department, and he's also a triathlete who has competed in several Ironman events, more than several. I believe several might cap off at 3, and I think you told me you did 4 so far, right?
4 fulls, not counting the halves and the local races. I mean, it's just.
Oh, not counting those. All right.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there's 2 or 3 halves every year. I mean, I got another half coming up a week after I go to my next Ironman.
And you're currently in the middle of training up for something that's 4 weeks out.
I'm
a
at
full.
peak training right now.
Right. All right. And I gotta thank you for coming here to do the podcast because I know that your time is limited with all your training and everything. So squeezing this in, I am very, very happy that you were able to show up. Thank you.
It's all good.
So, you gave me a little bit of info about yourself when I spoke to you on the phone a little while ago, and you have an amazing story, and the whole point of Build, Burn, Become is pretty much to bring an awareness to our culture in the first, not just firemen but first responders in general.
Right.
That basically. Let's try to change the culture a little bit. Instead of looking at ourselves as just having a job where we show up and then we leave, to kind of carry on more like we're athletes, because we have to perform at a level that's, way up here. When we go to a serious fire and there's a potential of rescuing a trapped victim or one of our own who goes down, you're going balls out, hardcore, and you're leaving everything you got out there. So, why not be in the best shape of your life if you
Absolutely,
can be?
100%.
And, you exemplify basically what that's all about. So I know your story starts quite a while ago, and you weren't quite the same person that you are now.
Oh, absolutely not. Complete opposite of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
180 degrees, no questions asked.
So walk us through that. Like, what give us a quick glimpse of who you used to be, what you used to do, and then what happened, and then where you're at now.
Well, we'll start when I got hired. It's very simple. I got hired on a job, and as most people know, once you get hired in the fire service, there's all those social groups.
Yes.
Vespucci, the IAMA, the Emerald Society, and what comes along with all that? Hammering drinks and beers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just fell down that dark tunnel, and I just kept going. The rabbit hole sucked me right in. And literally the only time I was not drinking, it was when I was in the house. When I was sitting in the firehouse, that was my sober day.
Wow.
And it was 15 years and I'm very proud to say April 24th, next month, is my sobriety date. And I'm not shy about it. I'm very open about my sobriety, and all the guys that I work with know, it's crazy. And I'm thankful for the fact that I've had 15 years of sobriety. And it's kind of hard at some points because I work with a lot of young guys now. I'm one of the top 5 senior guys in my house. And I got late 20s, early 30s, and these kids are, where are we going tonight? What are we doing? Who's hanging out? Where are we going? And I'm like, hey, I got no problem. I went out you and I were supposed to do this on St. Patty's Day. Yeah. I went and swam 5,000 meters in the pool, and then I went right to Kelly's.
Oh, wow.
In Neptune.
Yeah.
I don't drink, but I hang out with the guys.
Right.
You know, and they're cool with it. And, I end up being the DD. They don't have to pay for Ubers, and I'm out with my whole crew, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And we spend so much time together on social events, and it's crazy because they look at me and how do you do this?
Yeah.
It's like, listen, I built up such a tolerance. When I was 10 years of sobriety, I started bartending. I was working on a dinner cruise boat. I mean, I love the water, so I'm on the boat. I own a boat, and when the opportunity came to work on this gentleman's boat, I became really good friends with. He's like, drive the boat. If you're not driving the boat, work the bar, whatever. And I was like, oh, this is amazing,
Yeah.
And I got to just be outside. Being outside is part of my life anyway. So being sober with the guys at work, it has its limitations, and it's fun though. It's like anything else. I'm sure you can admit to. It's camaraderie with you guys. You guys bond together, and I don't want to miss out on that. And with the short time I have left on the job, it's not something I'm willing to give up.
Yeah, sure.
So it's fine by me. Like are you familiar with the Cooked and Uncorked that just happened?
Yes. Yeah.
We took third. Yeah, we took third place.
Right. That's right. I saw that.
And that's a big social event also. The guys are all, you can go, if you go there, there's the Telemore guy, there's everybody there. There's
the good stuff.
Oh, there's microbrewers and all this stuff, and everybody's having a great time, and I've learned to adapt to it, and it's just, that's part of my life now also, just being able to socialize and not have to worry about it.
Right.
But being on the job, and it's not an issue. Right. But back in the day, it was bad. So, and my training at work, took a hit with it. I wasn't forthcoming, and it was just like, I'm at a job. It's great. All right, where are we going tonight?
Right.
And back when I first got hired, we worked 10s to 14s. So you get done at 6 o'clock. Where are we going?
Yeah.
I don't have to be to work until 8 o'clock in the mornings.
Yeah.
Where are we going? It's it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something I heard about. I came on the job when 10s and 14s were done, but the older guys always would tell me, things were a lot different with the 10s and 14s. There was actually more camaraderie between shifts because you got to see more of the guys, but there was also more of this atmosphere where it was easier to get sucked into the drinking and everything.
Absolutely. And where I work, when the older days, it was the 24s. Then they went to the 10s and 14s. And then just when I got hired, I did like maybe 2 years of the 10s and 14s. And we went back to the 24s.
Yeah.
And I was kind of upset because I liked it. It felt like I was in the firehouse more.
Yeah.
Because you'd leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and your bed would still be made because you're coming back tonight.
Yeah.
So it was like, I got to experience both of it, and I like the 24s better now.
Yeah,
for me, and especially for the training aspect of it. I'm out of the firehouse at 8 o'clock in the morning. Boom, I'm gone. I'll let guys come in early. A lot of my training stuff, the group trainings start early. We're swimming in the ocean in the middle of summer. It's sunrise. 6:30.
Yeah.
We're out there at first light.
Right.
So it's like, come on, gotta go. Gotta get you in real quick so I can get out. It's but the where I've come from is just complete twofold. I was just I was a textbook blumbling idiot drunk.
Right. Wow.
And it was time to do something. And with work, they said, go do what you got to do. And I ended up down in Florida for 28 days. No, it's a 21-day program. And I was doing so well, they kept me for another 7 days.
They liked you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was time to get home and start working on everything. And with me, you know, I don't know if it's a little OCD or not. So, I mean, I did everything I was supposed to do, and I was hitting meetings every day, you know, and the only thing I didn't get along with was sponsors, you know, and in the AA program, you get sponsors. And, you know, like my one sponsor didn't like what he had to say, so I go find another one, you know. And I finally, the one I've got now, I've had for the last probably 10 years. And him and I, actually, was a buddy of mine that I went to high school with. And we met in the rooms, and we've been hit it off ever since.
Yeah, so you had to find somebody that you clicked with.
Absolutely.
It's like a personal trainer or a doctor
Sure.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes you just don't click with somebody. And
It's my new lifestyle, so it has to work.
Yeah.
You know, it has
Right.
to work. And one of the downsides to getting in my sobriety, I ended up getting separated from my wife. I mean, we've been apart for 12 years now.
Right.
You know, she lives her lifestyle, I live my lifestyle. It's just, you know, it wasn't
Yeah.
cohesive.
Yeah.
And the tough part is we had kids at the same time.
Right.
You know, and it took me forever to find out who I am and where I'm going and what I want to do in life. And it was, I mean, not that I was separated and we, you know, it was okay, but I was literally 4 blocks away from my kids. So that worked out well for me.
Wow,
You
yeah.
know, and literally we're doing stuff like, you know, the kids now, my son came to me the other day and he says, Dad, I want to take the test. I said, come on, really? I'm trying to get him back in the Navy. And he was in the Navy, got hurt in boot camp, and he came out.
Right.
And I was like, listen, go back in the Navy first.
Yeah.
The job will always be there.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And then, you know, as you know, with the veteran status, you
Sure.
know, I
Yeah,
said, dude, this
yeah.
is only going to help you if you go
Yeah.
back in. So he's going to toss him back and forth. And our active list just came out on, I want to say last Thursday or Friday. So
Right.
we have a brand new, I think everybody, the whole state's got the brand new list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're chomping at the bit. There's guys that are like, you know, our top 2 guys are vets.
Right.
You know, so my son said that to me. He said, I want to take the test. My older ones never. You know, it was tough. I came through the volunteer system. I don't know if you even managed to do that.
No.
Born and raised
yeah.
in Monmouth Beach.
Right.
My father was a volunteer fireman. My grandfather was a volunteer
Yeah.
fireman.
You have to make so many of the calls.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
You have to be there, show your face.
Yeah, get paid. You don't get paid to do everything, you know.
Right.
And I was chief of volunteer fire chief in 2003,
Yeah.
which was kind of hard to deal with on the job, you know, because our companies, you know, we've got Monmouth Beach and Long Branch, are right next door to each other. Our companies were intermingling,
Right.
and then you got the Garcia Act. You can't work where you volunteered. That whole 9 yards. I mean, it was tough. And
Right.
drinking on top of it, I was like, oh Jesus, you know, how do you deal with this? Boom, start drinking again.
Yeah.
You know, so once I got sober, it was a home run. You know,
And then once you got sober, how long was it before you actually started getting more into? Well, when did you become a triathlete? Did it happen right away?
No. I got sober in 04. I would say about 07.
Okay.
You know, that was when the triathlons came into play. I had a friend of mine who was a police officer, and I'm an avid hunter.
Yeah.
And he was big into the triathlete world. And I said, I want to try that. He said, well, I want to learn how to hunt. I said, all right, deal. We'll switch. You know, and he got me my first bike. Well, I helped him buy his first hunting boat, first shotgun, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So it was a tit for tat thing.
Right.
And when I did my first 5K run, 3 miles, big deal. You know, today it's you know, I don't even warm up until 3 miles.
Right.
I think it was 47 minutes, my first run.
Okay.
You know, now I'm down in the 20s.
You crossed the finish line.
Yeah. Well, I was an avid smoker too. I smoked my last cigarette that day. 5 minutes before I was supposed to run.
Right.
That was it. I was done.
All right.
I smoked my last cigarette and I went for my first 5K run.
All right.
And it was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like being on the job. It was the group of people you're with,
Yeah.
the network that I got involved in is just crazy.
So yeah, you started surrounding yourself with the right people.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
got pulled into that world. Yeah.
And I had mentors just like anything else. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, ding dong, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
This is how we do this.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this is
Right.
how we do this. This is how we do that. You know, and it's like, okay, it's like anything else. You know, you just sit there, you learn, you keep your mouth shut, and you pay attention to what the people are doing the right things.
Right.
And that's anything in life, sobriety, training, triathlons. It doesn't matter. It's to me that's the whole basis of life. You know.
So now here's a question for you. When you decided you were gonna quit drinking, I would assume, I'm assuming it was difficult to do. It seems a lot of people they struggle with it. Was it the actual taking on that action that you developed a resiliency and this determination, or do you think that was already there in you and it was sort of dormant, but when you were ready to quit, it came to the surface? And
Exactly. I knew it was time. I had a guy that I work with who's now retired, and he came. They did kind of like a little intervention. He came to my house and he says, "Listen, go in the bathroom and go look at yourself." I went in there and actually ended up crying because I was on vacation. I had shaved. I looked like crap, and I was hungover from the night before. And I come out of my bathroom. I look at him, and he goes, "Listen." And he at the time, I don't know, had 10, 12 years of sobriety. He says, "Look at me." He goes, "You got two choices. I'm here to help you, or I'm going to go home and sit back on the couch and watch football."
yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Because of the program. It's like you can't force anybody to do anything.
Right.
You've got to want it. I
Yes,
can tell
right.
you these are the ways to do things, but if you internally say, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, I'll have one more, it has to be your decision. And I just went, you know what? All right, I'm ready to go.
Right.
2 days later, I was in West Palm Beach, Florida, works, the FMBA, they sent me.
Yeah.
And 28 days later, I came home. And it was like, all right, now it's time to figure out. Even you go to the program, you go to the rehab center, and they kind of give you the tools on how to operate. It's like going to the fire academy.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of get the tools, and then you go there and you learn about it, and you learn how people, make mistakes. And I was like, do I want to come back? And I was fortunate enough. We had a guy who came, and this is where all the in the state of New Jersey cops and firemen went there. I hung out with a guy from Jersey City who was a cop. Not too many firemen, but it was mainly cops that were there at that time. Atlantic City cop, who I became really good friends with, and there was a fireman there from Warwick, Rhode Island, or West Warwick, Rhode Island. Remember the station fire?
Yes. Oh, yes. That's right.
With the band.
Yeah.
He was actually there.
Wow.
That's what set him into the downward spiral.
No kidding. Yes.
The things that he had to, him and I bonded real well. I got to hear his story and, the things that happened at the fire. And he wouldn't open up to anybody else. And he ended up opening up to me because he didn't want to deal with the cops,
Yeah.
because there were cops there. And the cops actually had a hard time dealing with the regular clientele of the rehab because they were the ones that they were always arresting.
Yeah.
It was quite a trip out there.
Yeah.
And then we had a guy who was a Broward County Sheriff's guy come in and mentor us. This is what you have to do when when you get back to work. And this guy had 20 years of sobriety.
Right.
He was on the job drinking mouthwash.
Yeah. Wow.
Every day he was drinking while he was working. He was drinking mouthwash. I mean, Jesus Christ,
bad,
eat his stomach up to nothing. But so the rehab for me was at that point. I was like, I saw where I came from. I did a lot of reflecting on how my life led up to where I was at. And going there, it wasn't a bad thing. I didn't think it was a bad thing. But coming home on the later end of it, I realized how messed up my family life was and how, things weren't, I was dealing with drinking. I was drinking, dealing with my family life.
Yeah.
So once I got sober, I realized how family life wasn't that good for me. So I had to go and do my own thing.
Yeah.
Some people may say it was the right thing to do. Some people may say it's the wrong thing to do. But that was my choices, and here I am today. I'm happy with my choices, and my kids. Both my kids live with me now.
Right.
And we have fantastic life together as far as I'm concerned. They might differ at some points because Dad gets yelled. Dad yells and screams and all that stuff. But
that's totally their perception's a little different.
Right. And I'm fortunate enough. I had my kids when I was young.
Yeah.
My first one was born when I was 25.
Wow.
So I'm growing up with my kids instead of growing older now. I see people now in their 40s having their first child.
Yeah.
I got a guy on my crew right now. He's 43 and he's trying to have another one. I'm
Yeah.
like, God bless you, man. You'll be collecting Social Security when they get out of high school. But,
Yeah, right. I mean, any energy that you have left at that point is going to get sapped out of you when that kid is born.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. So, I mean, with me, I knew once I got out there that it was time to change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And once the lifestyle started, you go through, and some of the biggest challenges in AA or any sobriety, whether it's NA or AA, is dealing with life's challenges while being sober.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy just to go back and say, boom, let's start drinking again.
Right.
And that's just masking the problem anyway, because when you wake up in the morning, the problem's still there. And then you got a pounding headache on top of it.
Yeah, so it's worse.
So what do you do,
Yeah.
It's so, for me, it was just like, all right, deal with life on its own. I grew up, in a decent, good, blue-collar family. My dad was on a job down in Lakehurst for 25 years until he passed away of cancer. And my mom did her best, I stayed home until I was 24, got my own place, and I ended up getting married when I was 25. So the sobriety for me was I just knew it was time to life had to change. Otherwise, I'd lose my job, I'd lose my kids, probably end up being dead someplace.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I just saw where it was going, and for me, it couldn't have been better. You know, I love the life that I'm leading right now, especially doing the triathlons.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, so it sounds like to me though that you definitely learned about yourself by becoming sober, and you
Oh, yeah.
probably developed the most unbelievable amount of confidence in yourself because you didn't need the
sure.
crutch anymore, and then you have this unbounding confidence just flowing. So all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go do triathlons and
Yeah.
go kick ass and train and everything. I mean, I could almost see it happening. Like,
Oh, sure.
And then you have to wonder. I mean, this is more of like a philosophical type of comment, but would you have even become who you are if you didn't have that past? You know,
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. Like I said, if I stayed down that path I was taking, I probably would have lost my job by now. You know, and as we all know, anybody in the fire service is the best job in the world.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
can't praise that enough. It's
Yeah.
the best job in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
And it just wouldn't have worked out anymore.
Yeah, right.
Totally wouldn't have worked out. You know, but it's funny because so you're in the gym, you're working out, right? You got the music pumping in the gym.
Right.
When I'm training, we're not allowed, let's say on an Ironman race, no music at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So that's the minimum 14 hours of me in my head.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm training, let's say I'm at 20 hours a week, peak's probably 25. Sometimes I hit 30 if I can. That's 30. I don't train at home. If I go for a bike ride or I'm running, I don't wear no iPod, no nothing because I can't do it.
Right.
And they say for a reason because music helps boost your endorphins.
Yeah. Right.
So that's an unfair advantage if you're running, you know, doing everything in triathlon. So they don't allow it.
Right.
So I have to train myself to think about all kinds of crazy crap.
Yeah.
You know, to keep myself entertained for 14 hours. And what am I thinking about? Well, life. You just keep reflecting on life.
Yeah.
For all this. All right. What am I? And you can only answer your question so many times. So you can, all right, what am I doing today? What am I doing in a week? What am I doing in a month? What am I doing in a year? You know, and these just repeating. I spent a lot of time talking to myself. It's crazy.
This is actually quite fascinating because now I'm picturing this. Yeah, between all your training and it takes you about 14 hours to do a Ironman, right?
I actually my best race was Lake Placid last year. I did 11. I'm sorry, I got numbers running in my head. 13:30.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good time. But yeah, so you got these thoughts running through your head, and your thoughts are always a combination of good thoughts and bad thoughts.
Oh sure.
So, you know, when you're competing and you need to be at your top and you have bad thoughts in your head, that kind of could hurt you a little bit.
Sure.
So what I want to know is how do you deal with some type of negative thoughts while you're in the middle of trying to kick ass?
You have to be able to channel it in, and you've got to focus. I used to run a lot at home before I figured out what worked for me. I used to run a lot with an iPod, okay? And I know my playlist in my head.
Right.
You know? So I would, and I mean, we're talking years I ran with this thing. And then once I got into the Ironman distance stuff, you're not allowed to. So I said, I can't train with this anymore. So I would repeat these songs in my head. And you would hit, and anybody that runs knows, like, just take a marathon in itself, standalone marathon. At mile, anywhere between 16 and 18, you hit that brick wall, and it's brutal. You just want to stop. There's nothing you want to do. I'm going to walk. I'll walk off. I'll get an Uber. I'll go home. I don't care.
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore. Right. But anywhere between 16 and 18, even sometimes 20, you really have to channel that inner strength, and you have to find out what you're really made of.
Yeah.
Okay. So marathon, 4.5, 5 hours for the average person, you know. Ironman, 14. My first one was 15 something, you know. You're only allowed 17 hours to complete the thing.
Wow.
If you don't complete it in 17 hours, they turn the lights off and everybody goes home and you're still out there pretty much, you know. So you have to be able, if you set a goal, and for me anyway, my goal was to complete. Whether it takes me a good time or not, I'm going to,
Right.
I'm to this point, knock wood, I've never not finished something I started. I got injured, just a quick story. I was in Ironman, Arizona, Okay. We know it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be good day, whatever, no problem. We get out, do the swim, get on the bike. I go do the run. Get mile 2, I blow my IT band.
Wow.
I felt like somebody stabbed me in the side of the knee. I got 24 miles to go still.
Well, wait a minute. What is a blown IT band anyway? What exactly happened to you? Like it tore?
No, it was a small hairline tear.
Okay.
It didn't pop completely, but it was the most excruciating pain that I was ever in.
I could just
It
imagine,
literally felt like somebody took a knife and stabbed me in the side of my knee. And I was literally at mile 2, and I'm like, oh, I can stop. I can just call it a day. And I'm like, no, I walked 24 miles.
Wow.
And it was miserable.
A 24-mile walk.
Yeah. So it took me 15 hours, 14, something like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I only, so compared to what I did previous year, my original best time was 14 something. I only put an hour on it.
Yeah.
So I had a really good bike. I had a really good swim.
Yeah.
Then the run kind of went to crap,
Yeah.
But I got to the point where I've always had it in my head that I'm not going to quit. They're going to have to drag me off of here or I'm going to collapse.
That do or die attitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking forward to going to Texas, but Texas Ironman's April 27th. So when I go to Texas, I'm a little nervous because it's one of two things. I've talked to several people who've done the race. You do the network thing. Why should I go there? What's good about this race? It's fast and it's flat. Okay, great, no problem. Everybody I've talked to that's done that race says one of two things. It's hot or it's raining. And I'm like,
All right.
So now I've got to train all winter, and it's cold here.
Right.
How do I acclimate for that?
Yeah, right. If it's hot when you get there, it's going to...
I'm running tomorrow morning. It's going to be 37 degrees.
Right.
It's just it's crazy. And around here we train 90% of the time in wetsuits. Whether we'll start out swimming, and when the weather starts breaking, we'll be in the river. Still going to be in the 60s. It's still going to be cold. And then once the jellyfish chases out of the river, we're in the ocean.
Right.
And that's even going to be colder also.
Oh yeah.
So once you get to a race that you can't use a wetsuit, which gives you buoyancy and speed right off the bat, it changes perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
So my training changes now. It's like, so now I've got to do more pool work so I can keep my butt afloat more because I'm not going to have a wetsuit to assist me.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just, those are the rules. These are the things you have to deal with. And these are the races that you choose, So if I want a cold race, I'll go up north.
Right. Okay.
And I did Lake Placid, and I love Lake Placid. I actually ran into the guys. New York City Fire Department has a triathlon team.
Yes. Right.
I ran into those guys.
They got a team for everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I ran into, we were all up there training last year at the same time.
Right.
And I ran into those guys, and they're like, well, where do you live? I said, I'm from Jersey. And they're like, really? You're pretty close. It's 50 miles by the crow flies.
Yeah.
And he's like, hook up with us. So we exchanged numbers, and this whole spring is going to be with those guys.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to train with those guys.
That's awesome.
They've got their own team, and
Yeah.
it's I don't know how well they're going to, like an outsider. I'm not on the job there, but
Right.
it's just that come on up, try something different, different terrain, different locations, and then come here and we'll flip-flop back and forth.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you're always putting yourself in a training situation that you're never quite used to anything. You're always on the edge of discovering a new form of yourself every time you just go out and train.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And it's also made me, I've never traveled so much in my life. This time last year, April, I think the marathon, I went to Paris and ran the marathon.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
never probably would have went, right?
No. Girlfriend, she says, come on, we're going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there I was there for my birthday. It was April 5th. And then I think the marathon was the 10th, somewhere around there. We went there for a week early, did some sightseeing and all that stuff, and then ran the marathon. Then I came home and I just off to the races here,
Right.
And it's get up early, train, go to work, come home, grab some food, and go back out and train.
Now you train before your shift.
Yes.
Okay. I do my weight training before my shift.
Yeah.
I don't like, we could work out if we want to in the firehouse, like once all the bullshit's done, we take care of everything. you know, maybe like go in the weight room at like 3 o'clock, but I don't like to, because if a bell comes in, it interrupts it. My training is so important to me. I go in at 5 in the morning.
Right.
So I got a little bit, and then I even work out off shift too, like when we come off. So I get I book
Gotcha.
it. But with your type of training before shift, what are you doing? This is interesting to me.
Off
here.
season, I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
So here's what I do. I got yelled at years ago by my physical therapist. I was in her office and getting PT too many times. She's like, "Listen, you're training too hard."
Yeah.
I would never thought anybody would ever tell me that in my life.
Right.
I was getting ready for one of the marathons I was doing, and she's like, "Listen, I got hurt again. I flared up the IT band again."
Oh, yeah.
So I went, "All right, tell me what to do." She's like, "Listen, you're an endurance athlete now. You don't need to run 5 days a week. You're just hurting your body. Your body's not meant to do it. Stop doing it." So you do 3 disciplines. I swim, I bike, and I run. She goes, 1 long distance and 1 speed workout in each discipline. That's enough. That's all you need to do. You know? And so that's where I've come from. And it's everybody has their own way of doing things. And I'm sure if some diehard triathlete right now says, "No, you got to do it this way," it's whatever works for them.
Yeah, right.
You know, you probably you get in the gym and I can't keep up with you at all. You know, you're probably banging out supersets and, you know, whatever. Me, I do low weights, high reps.
Right.
You know, I don't need to bench press 800 pounds,
Right.
you know, it's because it doesn't work for me, you know. Fat doesn't float.
Right.
I mean, and I see big guys, you know, muscle guys that do triathlons and everything. I'm like, wow, man, the guys can barely get their arms over to swim.
Yeah, right.
But they're doing it, and they're doing real well with it, too.
Yeah.
I mean, should I my biggest downfall is my diet. But
that's like everybody's.
exactly. That's a whole other story. But so I ended up doing so in the off season, gym is a firehouse. Go to the gym 6 o'clock in the morning, back home by 7, in the shower, back and at the firehouse by 8. Now, I can't. I don't need it. For me, I don't feel that I need the gym anymore right now. I need time outside, whether it's running or biking, you know, or if I can get in the pool first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But lately, I'll get up and I'll go run. That'll be my speed workout. I'll go and I'll hammer 4 to 6 miles, literally as fast as I possibly can.
Just book.
Balls to the walls.
Wow.
Balls to the walls. And I'm running, you know, if anybody's, or if I don't know if you're familiar with different time sets, you know, I'm averaging, you know, 7:40s for a mile.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I just ran 15 the other day at the Manasquan Reservoir. I don't know if you're familiar where that's at.
Yeah, I know where it is.
The reservoir's a 5-mile loop.
Yeah.
I did 15 miles at 8:39 pace, which was fine by me. Happy to do it. You know, I set a goal for myself this year. Ultimately, I mean, every triathlete wants to go to Kona, Hawaii. That's their Super Bowl of Ironmans. My time frame for me to do is, it's not that it's unobtainable. It is. Absolutely. You put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. But I would not have my kids. I'd barely have a job because you have to train like a professional.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing you can do about it. For me, I think, and the time frames you have to do it is they put them in age brackets. I'm in the 45 to 49 age bracket right now. And I think for me to qualify to go to Kona, which you can do at any of the races that we go to, it's like an 11 and 10. There's no way in God's green earth that I'm going to run an 11-hour Ironman. I would break my body. I would destroy myself. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now. You know, 13, I would like to get it down to a 13, but I set a goal this year that I was going to run a 4-hour marathon in an Ironman. Is it obtainable? Absolutely. That's my goal. So I did a lot of strength training over the winter in the gym. I was, you know, leg pressing 10 plates. You know, that's the most I've ever done in my entire life, and it showed immensely. I'm doing hill repeats tomorrow morning. You know,
wait, the leg press carried over to the running?
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. Okay.
That and for cycling.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Now, like how much improvement did you see from doing that?
Oh my God. I bet you I picked up 2 minutes a mile.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is just adding in leg press to a typical
easy workout, but I once again I'm not a strength guy.
Right.
So I just wanted to build up my legs because I needed them in all 3 aspects. Need them for kicking in the pool, need them for riding the bike, and I need them for running.
Right.
You know, not that I'm depleting my upper body. Believe me, I'm not. I think I'm pretty proportioned all the way around. I love, it's everybody makes fun of the guys that go into the gym and they go, he missed leg day today.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, they're all boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
yeah.
all chiseled and their legs are like this,
Yeah, right.
I think I'm pretty proportioned. So, I think the swimming for me is they use every muscle in your body.
Yeah.
I've been told that for years, that swimming is the most physical thing you can do to your body. But at the same time, in a world of triathletes, it's the smallest event. I'm only swimming for an hour and 20 minutes. That's my average time.
Wow.
If I want to drop that. I think my best was like 117. If I can get that down to like 115, I'd be real happy. Never be happy for 2 minutes. It's amazing if I can catch 2 minutes on my time. That's the smallest thing out of the whole thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And like I plan on doing a minimum of a 5-hour bike ride on Saturday. It's supposed to be nice out.
Right.
That's the longest thing. You can get on the bike 7.5 hours.
Right.
Sometimes 8.
Yeah.
And each event in a triathlete in an Ironman is you have a time frame. If you don't get out of the water in 2 hours and 10 minutes, you're disqualified. That's it. You're done.
That's it.
Have a nice day. Don't come back next year. Give us your $800 because Ironman is not cheap.
Yeah.
Between the entry fee, the travel, the training, the equipment. Oh, forget. That's another whole podcast.
Yeah. Right.
But so for the training for me, I started hammering legs because I was feeling it a little bit in my. I do this what they call a CompuTrainer class, a couple days a week. And I'm doing that's 3.5 hours of just hardcore banging away on your legs,
Right.
and your cardio, and it's amazing at how much when everything dials in. It's for me it's like wow I can really see it, So like in the wintertime, I'm doing these CompuTrainer classes. We don't do these over the summer.
Right.
This is all winter training, base training for the winter, and then throw on top of 2-3 hours a day on the weekends mountain biking. So there's always something to do.
Now, is mountain biking just a way for you to keep in the training pace, but to kind of switch it up just to...
Absolutely.
All right, yeah.
Absolutely. And for the triathlete world, it's amazing bike handling skills.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So...
Where do you go mountain biking?
Oh, right around...
LR or
Hartshorn's
Yeah.
5 minutes away from my house,
Okay.
And
Maybe I'll see you out there sometime.
do you ride?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's not uncommon to ride 20 miles a day, you know?
That's good.
And then you get these guys that are phenomenal triathletes, and they come whipping past you like they're doing Mach 10 on these fat tire bikes.
Yeah, right.
It's like, where did this thing come
Yeah.
from? And these guys are just hammering them,
Yeah.
And then, see, like when I go to my CompuTrainer class, you're a lot of triathletes, but you got road guys, you got guys that are the big thing now is a cyclocross.
Yeah.
I'm not buying another bicycle. I told the bike coaches I'm not buying another bicycle. Not happening. Then you get the velodrome,
Yeah.
those tracks that
Yeah,
you know.
right.
I'm actually thinking next weekend I'm going to try. There's a time trial down at Sandy Hook. Never done a time trial before. It's just
Oh, yes. It's always like bad weather when they,
it's a
right.
7-mile time trial.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it on the CompuTrainer a couple times a month.
Yeah, there's actually a guy I work with that does that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole crazy circuit.
Yeah.
But and then the bike coach is like, listen, it's in your backyard. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, all right, maybe I will. It's $30 and go torture myself for a
Yeah,
half
that's
hour.
it. Yeah, exactly.
But so the training for me is, yes. Do I do something before Firehouse? Absolutely, 100%. But right now, I'm out of the gym. I haven't been in the gym probably in about 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah. It wouldn't make sense at this point. I mean, you need to be working on your actual disciplines.
Right.
Why risk injury? Doing something that isn't really gonna
Exactly.
pay off that.
I don't want to pull a muscle.
Yeah.
No, believe me. I mean, I'm still, and once again, everybody has their own way of doing things. And
Right.
I know triathletes that are in the gym 3 days a week, 4 days a week, no matter what, all day, all summer.
Right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Right.
It's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
And this is what works for me.
Now, I got a question for your coming when you have a rough shift at work, and let's say you don't get any sleep, because I know this is always a problem for me. I love to train, and sometimes I've actually worked out sleeping maybe 3 hours and being busy all night. And it's like one of those deals where you get halfway through and you go, "This is the biggest mistake in the world." I'm like ready to fall over, and I'm doing stupid dumbbell curls or something. What do you do? Like,
For me, it's tough to like if you catch a job or you just up running smells and bells all night, and then let's say we used to have a lot of triathlons, smaller events, sprint distance, Olympic distance. Right in Long Branch. We used to have the Long Branch Tri Series. There was 4 or 5, maybe 6 of them a summer. And there, I got into a couple of them, and you know, I started networking, and I'm like, oh, I can't miss it. Now you get in your head, I got to be there. I got to be there.
Right.
So, like, switching with a guy, he'll come in early for me. I can walk to where from the firehouse to where the race starts. I got all my stuff in the firehouse, and the guys make fun of me, my spandex and my stupid little bike. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's once again another whole story. So then you catch work all night, and then you go. You're like, shit, dragging ass. And then all of a sudden, but for me, I don't know what it is. Once I either get in the water or I get ready to go start a race, it just switches.
And you're back to where you need to be.
When I'm done, forget it. I'm
All
going to pass out, and that's the end. And don't bother me for another 10 hours.
That's good to know, though. You have more battery strength somewhere in there
Right.
that's in reserve. You could pull that out. But yeah, you're going to be totally
to
destroyed
me, that's
afterwards.
a whole mental thing. I mean, because
Yeah.
I just love the whole concept of racing right now.
Right.
You know, especially now, because now it's even more competitive. Like, I have my whole network of friends that I hang out with and stuff, and we're competing amongst ourselves. Like, oh, you had a crappy run, but I kicked your butt. You know, it was great. You know,
Yeah.
and then it's just the network is just unbelievable. And then there's women out there that kick my ass.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing athletic women out there. It's actually inspirational. Like, I don't know what it is when you see a woman kicking ass like that in any sport and they're doing it so well. It's like I get more of a kick of seeing that, you know, because you know, we live in a world where it's like they're not supposed to be doing that, you know. And meanwhile, they are putting people to shame, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And in that sport, you know, there's so many women that are just like hardcore, and
Some of the women are beating the pro men's now.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they've come so far, and it's an equal opportunity sport, man.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. The more you put into it, the more you're gonna get out of
I
it.
love seeing that. Do you have an idea of why that's actually happening? Is it because of like science and we're getting a better understanding of the human body, or is it just there's more women entering and they're just flooding the system? Like, what do you see?
I think it's like. Do you see any women playing baseball?
No.
I think there's one female now that was college football. The only difference between the male triathletes and the female triathletes, pros anyway, is their start times. It's the same distance swim, it's the same distance bike, and it's the same distance run.
Wow.
Okay? It's just their start time. The men go out first, 15 minutes later, the women go. And then 10 minutes after that, we go. You know, as the age group triathletes.
Right.
And I don't... Maybe they're built different. I don't know.
Right.
It's whatever, but they're hammering it. They're coming. These women are and I've met some of the pro females, and they're just, number one, they're just amazing people. It's just I've never met a professional triathlete that was all up on themselves. You know, they're just happy to meet you and glad because we're contributing to their sport. If you look at any major sport in the world, whether it's golf, football, baseball, basketball, all the other people have to watch that sport.
Right.
If even bicycling, you know, the pro Tour de France.
Yeah.
Nobody, you just can't pay to go and do that event and ride with those pros.
Right.
And a triathlete, we're doing the same thing on the same course at the same time. It's just that they start off faster than I do. And they go out faster because they're just faster. But we compete, and I mean, they run past me, I run past them. We're out there doing the same thing at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's no other sport that I'm aware of, unless you're playing checkers someplace or chess with somebody.
Right.
But physical competition like that, there's no other sport that I'm aware of that you can do that, and it's just amazing to be able to do that. You know, we're standing there side by side. And I've met some pros that are just amazing people.
Yeah.
You know, they're just they've got such an outlook on life, and
Yeah, I wouldn't think too many people at that level would be really, all up on themselves or anything.
No.
Because the sport humbles you.
yes,
And you can't have that attitude because one day you're gonna be kicking ass, and the next race it might be the worst thing of your life going on, like your IT band or something. You know, shit like that humbles
that's why
you.
it's funny too, because we hope that we're training and we have that shitty workout or that shitty day during a training session.
Yeah.
Because it's gone, it's over. You just had a bad day. Great,
Yeah.
race day is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's like your best.
You know,
Yeah.
so you want to have a good race day. And can you predict it? You could be in the top shape of your life, and it rains the whole day you're out on the bike. you're going to slow down.
Yeah.
You know, because nobody wants to crash.
Right.
It's just, or you crash on a training day.
Yeah.
I went to Lake Placid and I crashed in a training session. You know, not only did I bust up my body, I busted up my bike. You know, it's just, and I don't have a pro set sitting there waiting for me. You know, there's my own bike mechanic and he's going to give me a brand new bike. No, it doesn't work like that. I have to, you know, it's all self-sufficient.
Were you able to compete with after that crash?
Oh yeah. It was humbling though. It makes it, and it sometimes there was one crash I had out in Colts Next one day. We were riding as a group. We were doing a century ride, which is a 100-mile ride. And one guy he was on his third flat. And I'm in my aero bars. I'm just cruising. I'm zoning. I'm actually leading the group. And all I hear is, I got another flat. He yelled back. I just looked up and I took my eyes off the road for a second, found a pothole.
Yeah.
Wiped out right there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God there was no cars coming. You know, it's just the road conditions around New Jersey are just
Yes, absolutely.
not friendly. But you know, boom, I went down.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. And I was doing my very first century ride, and that's a goal and that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, I gotta finish. I was bending parts back to my bike. I couldn't shift gears. I'm like, I had like 15 miles to go to get back to Long Range. I'm like, I'm doing this. I really am. I don't want to call for, you know, somebody to come pick me up because it just would be not cool.
Yeah. Right.
So I was bending my derailleur back. I was like, that's it. We're going. Stayed at one gear and rode home. It took a little bit longer, but I did it. Yeah, that's it. It was done. But I mean, it's just that whole mindset. You know,
Right.
You can do anything you want as long as you put your mind to it. And it's the same thing in the fire service. And it's funny too, when we were talking about the gym earlier, I got the problem with the guys at work. I got some guys, they're in there bench pressing 300-400 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great, that's good to have strength, but you need that endurance. So who's going to climb to the top, you know, the 12th floor to, you know, the high rise?
Yeah. Right.
And you're carrying all that extra weight. He goes, well, you can look at it that way, but I'll be the guy that's going to pick up the air conditioner off your back when it falls on you. Great.
All
well,
right.
maybe there's a place for that,
Yeah.
you know. But we, you know, I've always had this tit for tat with my boss. Leading death of firefighters, cardiac, no questions asked, in my mind. And my boss is a cancer survivor, and he's like, no, it's cancer. And I'm like, I'll get new statistics. He'll get new statistics, and it's just back and forth. And I'm sticking with the, you know. And he went to 9/11, I didn't, and I don't know if he contributed to that or not. But we had guys in our firehouse. We had two guys that both went to 9/11. They both had the same cancer. You know, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're both recovering. They're both doing great now, and one doesn't really talk about it. But like I said, the guy who I'm talking about is our captain now, and him and I. Oh, it's cancer. I'm like, no, it's cardiac. It's cardiac. Why do you think I go and I run, you know, 20 miles, you know, or do marathons? And I said, that's what. If I'm gonna get cancer, I'm gonna get cancer.
Yeah.
But if I can do anything I can do to help myself out, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to hang out a little bit longer. You know.
Yeah.
I want to be around and see what life gives me.
Yeah, I think he's probably referring more to like more long term, like maybe after you retire or
Right.
something like that. I mean, you know that. But yeah, there's like 50% of the deaths every year is a heart related or stroke or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know if you think about it, if you cross that over to the whole population, I mean you got heart attack, cancer.
No, just in the fire service in general.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if we were a cross section
Yeah,
of, you know, it definitely correlates. Right. So that's my philosophy too, is that, you know, you help yourself any way you can. And, you know, there's also talk now about like keeping your gear clean, right? That's like a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's great. Yeah, we should be keeping our gear clean, and we should be like finding ways to keep our firehouse clean and everything like that too. But it shouldn't stop there. And I don't think a lifetime of bad sleep, eating improperly, you know, not taking care of yourself is going to be the thing that's necessarily going to give you cancer. But
Right.
if you don't take care of those things too,
Sure.
and you just worry about cleaning your gear, you know, your statistics change.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So
But even like you said, the sleep patterns. Modern technology. I don't have it on right now. It's actually charging in the car so I can use it to go swimming later. Is my watch,
yeah,
and it tells me when it's time to go to sleep.
yeah,
I need ample amount of sleep.
yeah,
I don't wear it at work because that's never going to happen.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
It's totally different.
Totally
Yeah.
different. I mean, we all know it. It's just, you know,
Yeah,
you go and right now we're on a low. Everything's quiet. When summer starts kicking around, we'll be doing 10, 15 runs a day.
Yeah.
And half of them will probably come after midnight.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
But it is what it is. But it's sudden from the sound sleep, getting up.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that's what's stressing the body out.
Yeah.
You know, and you need to be able to compensate for that. So how are you going to do that? All right. So you get a bad night at work, you got to catch up, but not sleep. You know, they say sleep is lost. You're never going to get it back. I disagree with that. You can recover from it.
Yeah.
You know, a couple extra hours here and there definitely helps out.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
You know, everybody says, "Oh, you lost sleep. You're never going to regain. You never gain it back." Listen, it is what it is.
Well, it's not going to get any better if you don't get in a good night's sleep soon. I mean, if you keep
absolutely.
going 3, 8, 4 hours a night, you know, and working 2 jobs and never resting.
Oh yeah,
that's worse. So.
it's crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. Like I do a training class for the bike, and people come from all over the state to do this. The gentleman that I use, that's actually local for me, which is fantastic. But there's people coming from Trenton. They're coming from the city. And so we get done at 9:30 at night. They got to drive home. They got to get cleaned up, get into bed, have something to eat, and then wake back up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, either to train again or just to go to work.
Yeah,
It's a vicious cycle.
That's only sustainable for so long.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to be a very special person to be able to keep doing that continually without there being any degradation in your performance.
Absolutely.
You know, and in the first thing that goes with lack of sleep is actually your mind.
You got to have one of those first. In my case.
yeah. Maybe that's what the trick is. Just lose your mind completely,
Absolutely.
and then that's out of the question. But yeah, you know, when you start to lack sleep, the way you think is completely different. You get more negative and stuff like that, and that just doesn't help with anything. You know, obviously, especially if you're trying to train for something. You know, so you always want to be in that positive state of mind and be able to have those thoughts come into your head.
Oh, sure.
You know, but you want to be able to handle it, and when you're sleep deprived, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't work at all. But, you know, so to go back to the fire service, to training in the firehouse, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that. I don't have a gym. We don't have anything. And, you know, the city came down and said workman's comp's not going to allow it. If you get injured, you're not doing it.
Right.
So, I mean, we're trying to negotiate that right now. Hopefully it'll change in the future. But it needs to, you have to. I mean, there's studies out there right now. I mean, there's cities out west that are putting $1 million, facilities on the back of their firehouses just for these guys to train.
Yeah. In fact, Boston is working with that company O2X. And who else? Washington, D.C. They're training in the firehouse. They have trainers coming into the firehouse. I don't know if it's continually or not, but there's like you said, there's statistics out there right now that a health and wellness program that's implemented into the first responders' work life, it brings down the cost of healthcare.
Sure.
And forget about all the other stuff. That's where you're going to be able to make an impact with politicians when you talk about saving money.
Sure, absolutely.
And if you could show them, hey, look, this is how much money you could save on healthcare by having fit firemen or fit police officers, or whatever. It should be an easy sales pitch, but it takes a long time to make these changes. It might take 100 years. Who knows?
Not happening overnight.
But you got to be persistent with it, and you got to send the message out and keep it going. And like somebody such as yourself, I'm sure you have like so much more insight than what you've already delivered here. But what can you tell a firefighter or first responder who's struggling? They want to kind of start something. They want to get into health and fitness program. They want to eat better, but they keep falling back into the, well, I didn't sleep last night at the firehouse. Oh, my kids. They don't have time. All the usual excuses.
First, you have to want to do it. It's that, once again, like I said earlier, it's that mindset. And then if you have other people in your firehouse, I mean, there might be somebody who does something that doesn't even talk about it. Me, unfortunately, I'm bringing my bikes into the firehouse. I'm working on stuff in the firehouse. My downtime, I just had my mountain bike in there the other day. I was changing tires, just because it was my downtime and where else am I going to do it?
Yeah.
Right. So, it's funny too, because when I bring my stuff in the firehouse, it's Spandex Boys back.
Yeah, right.
Because unfortunately, when you're on their bike, you're not wearing, blue jeans and running sneakers.
Right.
You're wearing the acquired outfit.
Yeah, I tried to defend that once. They were giving me crap about the Spandex too, and I said, football players.
Exactly.
They're wearing spandex. They're not going to wear jeans or something, right? Well, how come you don't make fun of them? Oh, I guess because they're like 280 pounds and they'll crush you or something.
Exactly. Like I told the guys, wait until I start wearing our logo on our shirt, and then you're going to be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Can I get one?
Exactly. So, so if somebody's struggling and trying to, it's like anything else. Let's go back to sobriety. You have to ask for help. So unless you've got that strong enough willpower, but if you don't, you need to branch out and have somebody, sometimes you need somebody to grab you by the hand and say, hey, come on, this is what we're going to go do. I struggle a lot with the guys at work because they look at me and they just go, yeah, okay, whatever. And I talk about it a lot. Like we don't care. We don't care. You're going swimming 8 miles or whatever. You're gonna go ride 100 miles on your bike. They don't care.
Right.
Because nobody's actually that's not part of their lifestyle.
Yeah.
This is my lifestyle. So they they're talking about what cigars they're gonna smoke tomorrow. Or I just got this cigar. I mean, I love my guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we all live different lifestyles.
Yeah.
So if somebody's having a tough time, they need to go and find what's going to work for them. And not that I'm a big proponent on the cookie cutter gyms. Like I go to Retro Fitness.
Yeah.
I go there because it's only $20 a month.
Yeah. Right.
But I would never in a million years get involved with any of their personal trainers because that's just me. I would go and find somebody who's got. I love the mom and pop personal trainers.
Yeah.
They're down to earth. They're going to work on you. They're going to, because if somebody in those other gyms, all right, here's the piece of paper, and it's great. I love watching them walk around, and they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I got a client at 12 o'clock. Well, the client at 1 o'clock is going to do the same thing the client at 12 o'clock did.
Right.
It's not based on that person.
Yeah.
And if you want it based on that person, then it's going to start costing you. But if you join a mom and pop gym, which I love, or the box, you hit the old boxes, the CrossFits.
Yeah.
They do a standardized routine, but they also give you your own personal. It's all that one-on-one. I love that one-on-one stuff.
Yeah.
And for what I'm doing as far as triathlete, I mean, the network that I have is number one. It's local. I don't have to travel too far at all. I mean, I got a fantastic swim coach. He's he was a professional triathlete. He was running 9-hour Ironmans. This guy was amazing.
Wow.
And or I'm doing track with him tomorrow night.
Right.
He's my swim and my track guy. I'm actually running twice tomorrow. Hills in the morning and then speed at night. Ridiculous. But it's all local. I don't have to. I'm fortunate enough for the area that we live in. Everything's right here.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about mountain biking earlier. Some of the best mountain biking is 5 minutes away from my house. People come from all over the country to ride that place.
Yeah.
And it's because it's so challenging.
Yeah. And it's unique too.
Absolutely.
Like right there you pop out of the woods and you're right at the ocean.
It's phenomenal.
It's beautiful.
Phenomenal. And then I'll ride for an hour in there, throw the bike in the truck, and I'll go do hill repeats. I'll start running the trails that I just rode my bike on.
Yeah.
Same thing at Alaire.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah. Hill works. I've been told for years that running hills makes you a faster flat guy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to prove that theory correct. Like I said, tomorrow morning I'm doing hills. We're going up to Hubert Woods tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's the same. And we have this group. It's called Hump Day Tri. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We just call it Hilly Hump Day. Because in summertime, we're doing small little triathlons at Sandy Hook first thing in the morning on Wednesdays. Right before work or whatever the case may be, we go for a quick swim, do a couple loops of the hook, and then go for like a 3 or 4 mile run.
Yeah, right.
Boom, 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 done. You're out of there by 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that happens all over the state. The triathlete world is it's a phenomenal network. When I first got into it, I was at a swim on the beach. It was early evening, 5, 6 o'clock, and I went, I gotta go. I said, where are you going? I said, I'm gonna go hit a meeting. Guy says, you in the program? I'm like, yeah. He goes, me, him. Why don't we have a meeting right here?
Oh wow. No
everybody I was swimming with, I had no idea. I was like, right there. We all hung out. We had in the sobriety world, a meeting is you can have a meeting of 2.
Yeah.
If you need a meeting, that's a meeting. It's there. You don't have to go to a meeting with 150 people.
Yeah.
He goes, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We're gonna have a meeting right now.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was amazing. And it's like, and they tell you sometimes it's you go from one addiction to another.
Right.
A lot of alcoholics will go to gambling. I've met so many people in sobriety that are triathletes.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It may be one addiction to another, but this is the healthiest addiction
Oh,
I
yeah,
could possibly
absolutely.
imagine in my life.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You know, working out like a fiend.
Yeah.
I can't think anything else. You know.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's phenomenal for me. It's just a lifestyle now that I have, and my kids are all adapted to it. They're getting mad now because I'm traveling all these cool places.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, when we want to go, I said, well, you got to work, and I got off from work, and it's kind of expensive anyway. So no, you're not going.
See ya.
Yeah.
I'll drop a postcard.
Oh yeah, my youngest like, I'm coming with you. Like I have a friend of mine that's doing a 8-mile swim in Isle Morada in September, and I'm actually going to be her support in the water. I'll have her food, her nutrition, and all that stuff. But I have to kayak 8 miles. I don't kayak 8 miles. I actually have to train to do that.
Yeah.
And my kid's like, we're going with you. I'm like, no, it's not even my race. It's her race, you know? It's like, no, you're not coming with me. But it's great that the kids want to get involved and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're definitely a great role model for them.
I try.
You know,
I try.
I mean, that's what you like. Think about it. You know, your kids. You know, think about when you were a kid. You looked up to people. You know, everybody was like, you know, a fireman or athlete or whatever. You know, they were like a superhero. You know,
Yeah,
kinda,
absolutely.
You know, and it's great. You know, you're giving them that dream come true. Too,
Yeah.
You know.
See, when I was growing up, my father was on a job, but he was working a 24, that government schedule, 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, 24 off. It was brutal.
Yeah.
And then trying him to run his own business on the side. It was like, barely hardly ever got to see the guy. And I never really was involved in the fire service. Never really, even when I became a volunteer, I never really thought about becoming a career fireman. Not until after he passed away. And it wasn't because of doing a tribute for him. I was like, a friend of mine said, hey, come down to Firehouse and hang out. You know, and I never did that with my dad because he was all the way down at Lakehurst.
Right.
You know, I went to the Firehouse in Long Branch, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." You know,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he goes, "Go ahead and take the test." You know,
Yeah.
I took it a couple times, and I finally got picked up, and the rest is history. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's all the same reasons as you. You know, I love the job. I love the action. I love, you know, the guys and everything and that unique kind of family. That
Oh
we
my
have.
God, love hate.
It's
Ridiculous.
It's crazy.
ridiculous.
And then being able to utilize your free time in a way where you could train. And,
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and look, you know, we got it doesn't have to be exercise for everybody. There's guys out there who are building beautiful decks on their side job and photography now.
Sure.
And you know, I'm doing a little podcast stuff here.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to be able to do something constructive with your free time. And you know, but going back to being a triathlete, that's like a whole other level. Ironman is a whole other level on top of that. I totally have to commend you for being able to train like that. It's you know,
it's a lifestyle. There's no other way around it.
it's inspirational too. I mean, I think I want to get out of here and go run or something.
No, you don't. I mean, come on, stop. I mean, we're going to the pool. You're more than welcome. I can take a guest to the pool.
Yeah, or maybe I could just go home and go sleep. Actually, I hit it hard today at the gym. I did legs. I'm working with a personal trainer, so on my days on my own, he has me, you know, doing certain things, and I did great today. I was like, really
fantastic.
excited.
Good for you.
Excited with my deadlifts and stuff like that, and I'm entering a deadlift challenge.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, and I never really competed in anything before, you know, like this. So this is exciting. I can kind of see what you get into. You know, you have to you have to perform a little bit better than you would if it was just like, you know, nothing was on the line or whatever. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. And if you know, maybe it'll be something I do for the rest of my life. I don't know. You know?
And listen, once you get, it's that whole atmosphere of being at the event in itself. No matter what it is, for you, it's going to be the lifting. For me, it's you know, you're going to suffer for 15 hours on the average.
Yeah.
And you're standing at the start line. For you, it'll be getting ready to do your event, weightlifting, and it's dead quiet. It's just quiet, you know. And in the Ironman the community, they're got music pumping and all that stuff, but nobody's talking.
Right.
They're
all in their head.
They're
right?
all in their heads. They're running the race through their head already. All right. I mean, I'm always probably 15 miles ahead of where I'm supposed to be in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, on the bike. I'm 3 to 4 miles ahead of myself on the run. I'm thinking about. I'm already there. I've already made that turn. I've gone up that hill already.
It's good.
Before I even hit it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and then it's like anything else. You're training to do that event. Me, I'll go and train, and more so, like I was lucky enough that Lake Placid is not that far away. So we went up to Lake Placid 2-3 times. I ran the course, I biked the course, and I swam in the lake, in Mirror Lake, and I got familiar with it.
Right.
You know, I'm going to Texas. I'm going cold. You know,
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
This is where you're going in 4 weeks.
yes,
Yeah.
Texas Ironman,
All right.
Woodward. I think it's just it's like 45 minutes west of Houston.
Yeah.
And you know, you get there, and all right, great. You go to the lake, you swim around. Swimming is swimming. You know, it depends on where you're at, because 90% of the Ironman races are in lakes. It's very rare that you're in the ocean. I did Ironman Florida, 70.3 last year in the spring, and I was in the Gulf. You know, I was in Panama City.
Wow.
And that fall was when they got hammered for the hurricane.
Yeah.
And they actually moved the Ironman race. But they still had it, but they just moved the location because Panama City was pretty much wiped off the map.
Yeah. Right.
But you're swimming in the ocean, which is very rare. I'm going down to, I'm contemplating, I might do Ironman Maryland in the end of the season. I think it's September. Haven't signed up for it yet. It's kind of like in the back rivers of, like, say, the Shrewsbury, you know, the Shrewsbury River here.
Right.
But they're famous. It's called the Chop Tank. You know, at any given time, there's 4-foot swells.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I swim in the ocean, I grew up here, and I grew up on the Atlantic Ocean, grew up surfing, and I don't care what anybody says. You're in the water, and they say, I've been swimming for years. It's completely night and day of staying afloat in the ocean and actually learning how to swim.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I grew up, I had to teach myself how to swim before I could do triathletes.
Yeah.
And become a triathlon or become a triathlete. And I grew up surfing and all that stuff, and I was never a swimmer.
Right.
You know, so it is completely different. So learning how to swim here, when it gets rough out there, I'm in heaven now, because now I'm a certified lifeguard and I work on the beaches in the summertime.
Oh, okay.
So I get to swim constantly, you know. So, and the facility that I work with has 3 swimming pools, a 50-meter, a 25-meter, and a kids pool and an ocean. So I'm swimming constantly.
Wow.
And the younger kids, they don't like me because we're going swimming. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, they know how, they're lifeguards, they're certified lifeguards, but they're not swimmers.
Yeah.
You know, they're not. And it's great. I got a couple kids that work with us that are, you know, college swimmers, and I'm learning from them. You know, it's making me work harder and faster and stronger because I'm trying to keep up with the 16, 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
My swim coach, Brian, he's famous for we'll do different swim meets, and he wants to either place within the top 10 of those kids, you know, and he's a phenomenal swimmer. He can do it, you know, and he's there's no way I'm going to beat these kids, but he goes, I'm going to try and keep up with them.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
and
yeah.
he's 40 something, you know.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
great way to do
awesome.
it. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like I did a race with that. Who was the swimmer who was in the Olympics? That was local. Can't think of his name. Drawing a blank. But he's local. And he was from Rumson or Middletown. I forget who it was. And he swam with us on a beach swim we had, a 1-mile swim, you know, at the Ray Licata Memorial Swim they have every year in Long Branch. And I think he did it in like 12 minutes. You know, this is prior to him becoming an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, Christ, there's no way. It's just insane.
Yeah, that is.
You know,
It's-
I'm 20-something minutes into it, and this kid's doing it in 12.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, but it gives you, it's just like we go running, and I'm still like, you know, I'm progressively getting faster, which is what I want to do. And where was I running the other day? And there was, it was when I was at Manasquan Reservoir. All the high schools, they'll send a track and the cross country kids out there. And these kids are flying past me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and do a little boost up. I'll try and catch up to them for a minute and see if I can stay with them.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening, you know, but it gave me a harder workout for me, you know.
Sure, right.
It just pushes me.
Yeah.
That's the same thing at work. If somebody challenges me, we had a guy, my old boss, who's now retired. He started the company Waterway, which would then turn into Failsafe. They did all the fire hose testing.
Yeah.
He would literally, come on, I'll challenge you. I'm like, what? Get on the ground and put a roll of 5-inch hose on your back and see how many push-ups you can do. I'm like, are you insane?
Yeah.
But this is how this guy was, you know. How many? We'll put the straight stick out. How many pull-ups can you do?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And very competitive. This guy is he's still competitive today, and he's insane, you know. And we would literally practice throwing hose, you know, because
shot put style or something. Or,
yeah, well, we do both.
Yeah.
Shot put or just rolling it.
Yeah.
See, it had to be straight and fast.
Yeah, yeah,
If
okay.
you veered off, forget it. He was going
Yeah.
to tear you a new one.
Right.
Because this is not how we do it.
Yeah.
This is how we. This is what we want. This is how we do it. Well, nobody stretches a hose like that anymore
No,
in the
of
fire
course,
service.
yeah.
But we got to keep doing it.
Right.
You know? It's great. But this guy, and that was the atmosphere. 4 or 5 years ago before he retired. Man, we were very competitive in the firehouse.
Yeah.
And this guy would literally bang out 10 push-ups with a whole 100-foot length of 5-inch hose on
Yeah,
his back.
yeah.
I'd get maybe 2. I'd be like, oh, I'm dead. And he'd be like, so much for you being a triathlete, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll outrun you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, but you don't see that too much anymore because it's the different generation.
Yeah.
I came, and it's funny, everybody's got a side job in a firehouse. I've been driving dump trucks for 26 years. Get out of the firehouse into the dump truck. Drive a fire truck, got a CDL, no problem. There you go. I got a buddy of mine, he's on a job in New York City. He's got a trucking business. Anybody who wants to drive? Nobody's got CDLs.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's working.
Right.
They're staying home. They're having kids young. They're staying home. It's cheaper to stay home and take care of the kids and send them off to
Yeah,
daycare.
right.
So nobody's working second jobs anymore.
Yeah.
I was working 2-3 jobs sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's how, now in the fire service, the salaries have come up.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary anymore.
Right. Yeah. I did a lot of the daddy daycare stuff. It made sense. But I worked multiple jobs like my whole life, so I was like fine with that. It was nice to be able to, spend time with my daughter anyway. But the new generation, people coming up, they're not. I was up on roofs when I was a kid
Sure.
doing shingles and stuff. Nobody even knows how to swing a hammer, it seems like. I don't know.
I came from the construction. I worked for a guy framing houses.
Yeah.
And that related, some of the best firemen are guys that do that. Wait, a guy I work with, he was an oil burner guy for 20-something years.
Yeah.
You go, how many calls you go to an oil burner malfunction?
Yeah, right.
Boom.
Right.
Tommy, get on that.
He was the go-to guy.
Absolutely, 100%. Because if back in the day when you got hired, when you filled out on the civil service exam, there was questions about trades. Do you have experience on plumbing or electrical? Because it was all based around that.
Right, yeah.
Now it's what college degree you got.
Yeah.
I got a guy I work with on my shift. He's got a criminal justice degree. He's a fireman. What's he gonna use the degree for now? He got the better of the two jobs. Believe me,
Yeah, right.
But nobody wants to be a cop. Everyone loves to be a fireman.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But it's a different generation.
Yeah.
And the one kid in question, he's got a company now. He builds websites for fire companies.
Oh wow.
He's doing
See, there you
doing
go.
phenomenal
Yeah.
with it. And he's our techie guy. He's the one who's in charge of all our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and all that stuff. And he took that and ran with it, and he's got a great company built that he put together between him and his brother, and it's taken off.
So now, when you finish your race, if people want to check in and see how you did and everything, is the Firehouse website the place to check?
No, absolutely. They've
Or-
never posted anything on that.
Where would we be able to find out about you?
It's once again, everything's on your phone. You can get the Ironman tracker. I just posted my bib number for Texas.
Okay.
It's my Facebook cover photo.
All right.
It's my bib number. So you get the Ironman tracker. You go race day. You put that number in there, and that you can track. I have a GPS chip on me. You can see me in the water. You can see me on the bike.
Oh,
and
really?
You can see me on the run. Absolutely.
All right, this is interesting. I think I'm going to at the very least I'll post something up on Bill Byrne Become Instagram, like what your results are or whatever. But I want to see this. I'm definitely going to watch you with the tracker.
Oh, absolutely. I had friends of mine last weekend. They were racing in Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Pulled it up on my phone. I can, it's not like a Google Maps thing, but it
It gives you a rough kind of estimate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And you can see what mile marker they're at.
Can you send a message? Hey, run faster. Come on, you're losing.
Well, it's funny too because now Ironman never used to let you bring your phone.
Yeah.
You can bring your phone with you now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because of the training peaks and all that stuff. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have a music playing anyway. I think they're getting a little soft, to be honest with you. The rules aren't like they used to be. I don't train with my phone. I don't bring my phone. I buy my watch.
Yeah.
And everything downloads to my phone off my watch.
there you go.
You know, I have Garmin Connect. I have Strava.
Right.
You know, there's so many different things you can use on your phone. And I'm sure even there's probably something there for weightlifting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I felt so unconnected the other day. My phone broke. I had to get a new phone. This thing's like 3 days old.
Yeah.
And I was like, passwords? Once you open up a new app,
Yeah.
who remembers the passwords?
of
I was
course
like,
not.
oh my God,
Yeah.
I got to, and all my training is through my phone.
Yeah.
And even if you have a coach, he'll post it. Well, there's this one site it's called Training Peaks. The coach is logged in. He has your password, and he will put all your training up there for the week, and then your watch or anything that you did, all your stats, how fast you were, how long you went, whatever it is, how many calories you burnt, which is garbage anyway because it's only calculated. It's like running on a treadmill. They tell you how many calories you burned. Doesn't really work.
Right.
Everything's in there. And then he'll review it, and he'll say, do this, do that, do this. Call me, all through the phone, all through that app. And it's phenomenal. It's connected. We're all connected.
Yeah.
Take that away from you. What do you do?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The technology is awesome. You use it for the right stuff, and it definitely enhances everything. And I agree with you on that. Yeah, and you can get carried away with things too, but
It's funny.
that's the way it is with everything in life.
We're
right?
doing a podcast. We'll sit in the firehouse. My crew and I will sit in the firehouse, and we'll watch podcasts.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We'll put it up on the big TV. Because. Everybody's got them in the firehouse now. Everything's connected with smart TVs and everything.
Yeah.
We're all sharing on a phone anymore. It's just throw it up on a big screen.
Yeah.
And we'll watch a podcast for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's connected.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
It's just the way it is.
Cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, my man. So this was a good episode here. You had a lot to say, and I think, when you get back from Texas, hit me up and maybe come back. And
absolutely.
And let's talk about that race. Let's just do a podcast.
Well, there's 2 races.
Oh, okay.
I've got Texas.
Yeah.
And the following weekend, I'm doing Ironman 70.3 in Virginia.
Oh, okay. All right. So
there's back to backs.
Yeah. Let's wait till after those 2. And I just want to get into the whole, because you touched on some things about the start of the race, how it's quiet, how you're running and it's quiet in your head and you got all these thoughts. So there must be so much we'll dive into that. We'll get into that. And, if you have time, I know you're busy and everything. And you said you're leaving right from here to go to.
I'm going to the pool right as soon as I get my truck. I'm going to.
How far are you going to swim tonight?
Well, I'm only going to get an hour because they're open until 9.
Okay.
So I'll probably get at least 3,000 meters in.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Got to do it,
Yeah, just a little touch.
But
so,
I said, I'm at peak training, so it's got to get done.
All right, cool. Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come back and send some of those other guys you work with over at, anybody that trains or anything. I want to hear what they do.
You guys like to fish. You like to fish?
Yeah, but that doesn't fit to the podcast.
I know.
Maybe a little side story.
But that's all they're talking about is fishing.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll be back with the next episode real soon. Take care.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Thank you.
Fun.
Appreciate it.
I ramble a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it happens even more when you put the headphones on. Everything you get so zoned in.
Right.
And one thing I like about podcasting is you don't really get an opportunity to sit with a person and really talk and not be distracted by anything. Like if we were talking out in the street, maybe we'd have a nice conversation, but your phone would do something, my phone would do something. This guy would walk by, we'd look, but you're really locked in for like half hour.
What got you in on all this? Like, what made you say, I'm going to start doing podcasts?
Well, I started listening to podcasts, and I just thought it was so much better than regular radio. It's just more genuine. It's more organic, And sitting around the firehouse talking with guys, I kept picturing microphones and stuff.
Right.
So I was talking to a guy, and he was like, we could do a podcast here. And I'm like, what do we, he's younger. He knows about the technology. I'm like, don't we need things? He's like, nah, man, it's real simple. So we figured it out. We started off some little podcast, and it kind of it just sparked something. And I was like, well, you know what? There's a little creative element to it. There's something interesting about being able to have good conversations with people, and I was just like, I'm just gonna let it rip and see what happens, and tie it into a little bit fire service, but more like fitness and everything like that.
We got a guy coming to do. I don't know if he's gonna do a podcast, but he's gonna record it at the firehouse. Jeremy I forget who the guy is.
Where's he from?
He's a volunteer. He's not on a job.
From the area?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. was supposed to come. He was supposed to come like 2 weeks ago, and he canceled. And he's coming within a week before.
So he's gonna set everything up in the kitchen or something.
Well, he's gonna get recorded. He's gonna check. He's gonna he goes to different. He's on site. Like he'll go to the factory and look at fire trucks and shit like that. And,
Yeah.
This one just got a new fire truck. Let's go check out this one's firehouse and see how the guys are doing. What the hell's fire? I can't remember the guy's name. Let me text Turbo. Our computer kid's called Turbo. Where's he at? Jamie.
If you could you give him my contact info, like my Instagram or something like that, and just tell him to hit me up? Because I'm always looking to talk to other people at podcasts.
Right. For sure.
Either he could come on my podcast, I could go on his, whatever. We could meet here, do See, what's cool about meeting here is, if he has a podcast and I have one, we could both do a podcast for each other,
right?
Break it off into two. It's his and mine, it's something like that.
Yeah.
So it's what's cool about this place.
See if he responds to me. So what's the end result here? How is this going to get out? When does it go out?
So it's going to go on YouTube I have a website. It's buildburnbecome.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch it there. That's the actual YouTube, so it's embedded there, or you could go to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Either or. The podcast itself, the audio file is on. We upload it to SoundCloud, and then it propagates to iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an iPhone, you might listen to it on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
So you just type in Bill Burr Become, you find it. I use I don't know how involved you are with podcasts, but
not at all. This is all new to me.
So there's podcasts all over the place, and if there's anything on iTunes, this is called Antenna Pod, and it's an app, and I pull the podcasts I want into it.
Okay.
So you could do it like that. You could type in SoundCloud. Here's SoundCloud, right?
Right.
So you could go there. If you type in to Antenna Pod, or there's a whole bunch of aggregates out there, you could type in Bill Burr Become, and you can find it that way. But if you want, I'll make sure I send you a link or whatever so you can find it directly, and I'll let you know when it goes up.
Yeah, definitely let me know when it goes up.
Yeah, he's gonna upload everything probably, in the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, what we do is I even have theme music and everything like that, and I do I have a little bit of sponsorship. It's nothing major, but I like to send shout outs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I learned not to do it when there was a guest though.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a guest sitting there, and I'd start off the podcast with 3 minutes of talking about a product or something like that, and I'm like, this, I need to do that separately.
Right.
So I would have done that tonight, but it just, it's all right. So there's not going to be any sponsors, but I also have a guy who does it remote. So he has a backpack full of gear. We could do a podcast anywhere we want.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And then I'm just gonna keep chipping away and just see where it goes. There's 660,000 podcasts out there. So
Right.
I mean, the top ones are obviously well-known people already, and that's how they have the audience. But Ming was telling me that there's guys that come in once a week, and they got 10,000 listeners a week now. That's a lot.
Right.
What's the name of that podcast?
Oops.